Hello and welcome back to Short Play, where we are playing Disco Elysium, investigating a lynched man in a tree. And I need to find something to enable me to stomach the horrors of the corpse. I can run with shift. Oh, that's useful to know. So, let's have a little look around. Let's see if we can find anything of merit or value. Straight away, there's a shop here, I think. We can take a look at this. The book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. My favourite. The book appears to be erotica, or without actual erotica. Absolutely my favourite. Alright. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book is titled Man from Heimdall and the Wild Fire. Now, I just want to say, I'm joining you today with a Prince of Wales tea. Exquisite. I do apologise if I get... This is a book about pate. If I become more insufferably English, I am leaning into it somewhat. This book, you don't really understand what it's about, nor does it seem important. A book about Guardiero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. A book about the future. A government reads your mind using radio technology.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
A young girl with chubby red cheeks waves at you, smiling. Her nose is also red from the cold. I am the law. Hello.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
She stomps her feet to feel warmer. Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name? My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Placence. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. The girl gazes at the window, then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. And you're standing out here in the cold because... I'm signalling that the store is open, she nods eagerly. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. I should have a word with the store owner, maybe. Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help, Mum, by luring in customers. She stands upright and smiles like a little soldier. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. Great. Well, none of this relates to the case, so I'm gonna just... Bye, see you around, Annette. Maybe she saw something. What is wrong with my face? Honestly. Let's see what we have here. Man from Heimdall series. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Heimdall somewhere. Leave. Not needed. Gift books and molten candy. Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. The book collects the national recipes of Arda. They're all about lake trout. Marvellous. Let me just skim her over for a minute. Have a gander this way. What is this? You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for only.
Examine the strange cage-like trinket. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. From the looks of it, this is a traditional Seamanese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges. And who are the Seamanese? Inhabitants of Isla de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands down south. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Well, this is not what I'm here for, so maybe later. Also, respect for realizing that I'm an officer. Good on you, despite all appearances. These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. Look through the display. Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes and the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of the books found on the shelf? Sure thing. You see Dick Mullen on the job, Get Me Mullen, The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen, Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard, The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen, A Killing is Declared, Dick Mullen in the Murder House, The Final Case of Dick Mullen, An Obvious Lie, Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower, The Ordeals of Dick Mullen, Dauntless Dick, Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre, The Murder of Dick Mullen. Are there any more? Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It, Farewell My Mullen, faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series, The Morbid Tales of Dick Mullen, A Dark Tide Turns, Tragedy Calls for Dick Mullen, another one with fake death, and of course, Dick Mullen the Murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Oh, let's try it. Your attempts to grasp the answer fails. It seems very close by pulsating just out of reach. Interesting. Imagine being my... A quaint picture book brochure, very colourful. Yes, imagine being my companion here, just following me around as I look at books. It's a tome of fascist magic, rather candid. Another boring book just discarded here. Shelf of paranormal books. This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature. Leave for now. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinder, a map of Revachol. I need to look at the pronunciation again. It's Revachol, I think. And a map of Martinez. The large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is Lekailu. You are here. Another far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ile de Fantôme. Ozon, Laurentide, Face de la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the colour fades into a blur of dotted lines, black and white. Disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Kailu. In a bookstore, it's you. Can you see cities on the island? You can. On Kailu, Revachol, a single black star. On Ozon, Fond de l'Air and Vermindo. On Archipelagos, Croyant Moraine, Villiers. on Semenine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Diora of the Seven Seas. 850 million people live on these little dots, an oceanic world of culture and commerce torn apart by history. Look at the edges. The ocean breaks apart from a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Mundi is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seol is the west azimuth. Isolus, they're called. Excuse me. Connections to other worlds. Worlds past the Insulindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Well, this is getting tough. Perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and other dust. Yeah, can I buy them? I'm sorry, officer, the map of Martes is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Why is the one of Martinez so cheap? That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue and set up those coin-operated viewers and designated the new street lamps. Designed the new street lamps. The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it? What happened then? No. They didn't get far. For some reason, a shame the project never got going. It would be nice if someone fixed Martinez up. All these ruins are bad for business. Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Nice. What's going on with my gentleman up there? Mountain of board games. A small mountain of colourful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise. Look through the pile of... No, I'm busy. I'm on the job. Come on. Stay focused.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
The clerk extends a greeting.
Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
So are you the owner of this store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
Your daughter's the one standing outside the store, right? Annette, yes. My daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl? Yes, of course. Wonderful. Did you talk to her? Yes. Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? Well, I'm not grading her as a person. I'm simply grading how much I wanted to buy a book afterwards. 10, she's certainly very polite and helpful. My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. She's immensely satisfied with the answer. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. Yeah, let's just avoid this for now. I might need to talk to you later, and I feel like creating bad connections with people would be unhelpful right now. Well, that's a single store investigated. I feel like these episodes cannot be short because there is so much to look at. Well, he's sick. bag there. Would allow me to get some money if I wanted. Broken windows. Tibbs has windows. What is this? Yellow plastic bag. Take all. You hear the distant squall of seabirds. A splash of bullet holes line the wall. The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. Look closer first. The fading marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions, just chips in the sandstone. They look pretty ancient. Kim, look, bullet holes. Well, they're ancient, so I don't really see the point. Nothing, forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. Nothing to do with us. If they were new, yes, but they're not new, so no. So let's head back. I know I can fill up a bag. I need to make some money, so... Oh, do I not have a chance to do it now? I thought that... Oh, never mind. Just get on with it. I'm not sure if I'm heading the right way. Ooh. Visual carcass. What have we here? A bridge? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if ever there was one. Whatever, let death come. I'm a Revicolian badass. Kim, it looks like we've got a construction code violation. Well, this whole place looks run down as hell. I guess I'll have to take my chances. I guess so. And nothing happened. A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. I love cormorants. See them on the Thames. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. This looks like a route. This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. Why am I looking at this wall? No, I'm not even touching that. Oh, here we go. Cough, cough. It's one thing to It's one thing to take random items. Oh, does it just heal you straight away? Oh no. I should review the damage ledger soon. A garden hose? No indeed, it won't be of use. A balcony with a view to the yard and the hanging. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. That smoke up there could be a witness. Talk to him. Well, thank you for telling me. Alright. I'll deal with that momentarily. Another splashing of bullet holes on this wall. These barrels are half full of rainwater. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. No entrance to the air yet. orange bum hat. I won't say no to some extra reaction speed. Can't hurt. There must be another way into this building. Oh, hold on. Glass tear. Oh, so I just can pick up junk now. That's pretty neat. Cape Side Apartments. There's a girl up there. Did she spill the paint? Inside the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disable it. I'll leave that for now. See if we can find anything else. I think I'm going to have a careful think about how I go about collecting these things. Your room in the whirling is much bigger than this sloop. A striking woman leads against the cabin top of a sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
That is deeply kind of you, sir.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You're on a boat. What can you tell me? Can I have some money? Jeez. What can you tell me about this strike? Everything, she smiles, right up to but not including trade secrets. What is your role in this precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer. And how are the talks going? They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2.2 metre racist behemoth blocking the gates. Tell us more about this behemoth. What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. She pauses. A racist giant? I guess that's part of their big tent organisation now. Interesting, a 2.2 metre man inherently wouldn't be overly heavy, but there's a chance. There's a big chance. If he was pushing maybe 180 kilos, maybe. How were the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived. And when did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago, she thinks. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. He looks at his notes. But the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Galmont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Galmont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations. This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike. Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Ludicrous. Even. It's meant. What happened to this Galmont? Mr. Clare told him to how did he put it? She pauses to compose herself. Fuck off, midget. Galmont is short of stature, you see. Okay then. Yes, keep in mind this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before and who was more than fair with him in the union. What are their demands? This might help us learn why they might be hostile to individuals. There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker a member of the board. Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. Over-aggressive commie posturing, no. I don't know what to think about that. Well, that would imply a co-ownership of the entire company, which then it wouldn't be a company. I don't know what to think about that. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs a signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. That would not work. That would just not work. That would be a mess. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they're also kings of the 72,000 employees of the Wild Pines group. Right. Just with that many people, you'd have a lot of indecision, and a democratically run company isn't necessarily going to be a healthy company. I don't really have anything of those things to expand on. What are you going to do? I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now people are getting lynched, I hear, behind the whirling in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one. Excuse me, the lieutenant looks up from his notes. From whom did you hear about this lynching? Her reply comes quick. I first heard it from the boyar at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was "Call me mañana." This checks out. Tell me about Mr. Clare. Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagined he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. Say nothing. He is the most corrupt individual I've ever seen. I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Wait, there are 2 of him? Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as a foreman is up, the other takes over. Interesting. Oh, Very interesting. So they switch between each other. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. What about the unit itself outside the Brothers Clare? The Debardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution, 20 years ago anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. She adjusts her hair. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a, how do you say? She hesitates, looking for the right expression. A mob, the lieutenant says succinctly. The Debardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer. She nods. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. She turns to you. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a cautious and talkative person, you see. I'm a curious and talkative person, you see, she explains. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is an effective advocate for the rights of local working men? It's clearly not. It is clearly using that as a method to give certain individuals power. A giant leech sucking the life out of Revocol. Basically a socialist mob. Well, yeah. I prefer not to have an opinion on these things. We have an intelligence of 5. That is the right answer. Of course, officer. And now that has unlocked a new line of inquiry. One more thing. You said something happened in the elections. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous foreman of the union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore or coming to work ever. End of story. Some kind of extortion, probably. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them. Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine. Let's change the topic. What can you tell me about the lynching? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. She falls silent for a moment, contemplating something. An identity would be great. The information I'll share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers. Continue. Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. The lieutenant hands her a piece of blue plastic. I'm Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. I still don't know who I am. He points to you, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice. How curious. He returns the lieutenant's badge and turns to you. Why is that, detective? Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode and my lost badge is related to it? I see. She looks increasingly worried. So are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Yes. I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world. I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing. Oh dear, she sighs with confusion, sadness even. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do, believe you. Naive as that may sound, I simply can't imagine what you'd be gained by faking such a condition. Well, I'm averting saying I'm an alcoholic, so that's a plus. As I said, ma'am, the lieutenant interjects. His technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM. Of course, I sympathise, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Cannot be retried. Let's find something else. Okay. I think that's that. Okay. And with that line of investigation done, we will call it there, and we'll continue the investigation next time. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Have a wonderful day.